Getting a haircut is one of the most exciting things you can do as a waver. However, it's also the most dangerous thing you can do. And that's because all of the hours of hard work you've put into your waves can be erased by just one small mistake. And over my 3 years of waving, I've had my fair share of bad haircuts which have set my progress back by months. But I've also had great ones which have accelerated my progress, giving me great results. The number one thing that you can do to avoid getting a bad haircut ever again is by finding a really good barber. And I know it's much easier said than done. However, if you're able to find a great barber, he will set you up for years, allowing you to make more progress without having to put in any extra effort. Literally, when I switched to a barber who had waves, and better yet, his waves were better than mine, my results instantly went from looking like this to looking like this, and my rate of progress shot up as seen here. After you found the right barber, it's important to make sure that you're doing the right things before your haircut. Because just by making a few changes, you can make or break your cut before you even gotten it. Here's where I'm about to comb my hair out, and this is a 13 weeks long wolf. And on this wolf, I made a lot and lots of mistakes, which you don't really ever want to do. Wolfing for 13 weeks, you're not going to see much benefit at all. I mean, you can if you're staying on top of it. However, it's very, very hard to stay on top of it, and you have zero margin for error. But as you can see, my hair is totally combed out, and I got a little afro going on. And the reason, this is a haircut video. Why am I combing my hair out? If you advanced wavers know, not even advanced. If you intermediate wavers know, you gotta wash your hair before you get the haircut. If you wash your hair after the haircut, you see, water, enemy of waves, and enemy of lineups and hairlines in general. So if you go ahead and you wash your hair after your haircut, you just wasted your money. And if you don't wash your hair before your haircut, first of all, you don't maximize the progress of your waves. Wash your style makes your hair completely 100% laid, and you're not doing that. Second of all, your hair's going to be dirty, especially if it's this long. Pause. And third of all, your dirty hair will ruin your barber's clippers, and your good barber you just found will never want to see you again. This is a crucial step that you're washing your hair before the haircut. One more thing about washing your hair before the haircut, you want to make sure that you have enough time, because if your hair is wet, it's just not going to come out that well. I think V60 Juice did a vlog a long time ago trying to do that with wet hair, and yeah, make sure you have around 4 hours of leeway for your hair to be completely dried. One quick method you can do that you probably see me do is swap out your wet do-rag for a dry one. It can probably speed it up by around an hour, which is a lot of time, but just make sure that you're on top of it. In the wash, the first thing I'm doing after I do my 2 pre-washes is using a detangling hairbrush. And over the last few months, I've kind of come to realize that the detangling hairbrush is the most important brush when it comes to doing the washing style. It's what sets your waves in place, and it's what really brings your lather out. If I were to immediately jump in with my normal medium hard brush, or even worse, if I have like a normal medium brush and try to wash my waves with that instantly, it wouldn't do good. That's what would cause forks. My hair wouldn't be completely laid out and straight. So I'm thinking, even if you don't have like a medium hard brush or a hard brush for your washing styles when you're wolfing for this long, having a detangling brush will save your butt, because it's really able to get all the way down. But this is also why you don't really need to wolf for this long, man. Do not wolf for 13 weeks. After you do your detangling brush, that's when you want to go in with your normal brushes. I don't need to explain the whole washing style process. This isn't a washing style video. I just want to make sure you understand the importance of washing your hair before your haircut. And one little tip you can do to get a little bit extra results is by putting all natural oils in your washing style, especially if you do this before your haircut, man. It's gonna be nice. It enhances the lather. It just maintains your hair health overall. Wavers aren't able to use conditioner, so this is kind of our way of using conditioner. And I know you're wondering, bro, aren't you just rinsing it out anyways? Yes, however, because the way your hair follicles work, if you rinse it out with cold water, you're gonna be able to seal in some of the oils. So it won't be all for nothing. And especially if you make a habit of doing this every single washing style, I do believe there are benefits to be had. Okay, now that you've done all the necessary things before your haircut, you've already set your haircut up for success. So let's see how you can get that success. Sitting down on a chair, that's my barber right there. And let's see what type of damage control he can do, because this 13 weeks wolf was a failure. My original plan was to go ahead and get my hair braided, so I had to wolf for a long time for that. But That just didn't work out. And when I came back home for spring break, I left my medium hard brush, and I use this brush for like the last 3 years. This is the brush that I use for all of my washes. It's able to stay hard, pause, and it's long enough that the bristles can always reach the bottom of my scalp, or at least close to it, making it my best brush for wolfing. And I did not have that, and the second I stopped using it to try to do a wash style without it, I literally gained forks. So here's the unrag. This looks horrendous. But first thing you can see, my barber's combing my hair out with the grain because he knows what he's doing. A bad barber would maybe even make you do it. Or if you don't trust your barber, you'll do it yourself. And you can't really do a good job since you're sitting in a chair and you can't see the back of your head like you're normally brushing. But he's perfectly combing my hair out with the grain of my pattern. And you can really see that, oh my gosh, that's so much hair. It ain't worth it, bro. This is like doing a dirty bulk and not even lifting weights. Like, my goodness, yeah. And yeah, he's checking my hairline. Hairline situation we're trying our best, man. We're trying our best. The second you see any early sign of your hairline receding, no, it's not because of waves. It's because you're a male, and 85% of males go bald. So count yourself average. But second you see anything, that's when you want to take action. And if you're under 18, I mean, I guess it'll be a little bit rare. But you don't want to instantly hop on finasteride or dutasteride, so whatever it's called. You gotta really do your research for stuff like that. That blocks DHT, which causes hair loss. However, it's still important for your bodily functions as a male. So you gotta make the right decisions like that for that. And don't just derma roll and derma sand. That doesn't really do anything. First thing I would do is just hop on minoxidil and properly derma stamp. Alright, so now he's just combing out my hair, combing out my crown, getting ready for the cut down. A good barber will start with your crown. The reason you want to start with your crown, it's so you can get an ordered haircut. Because if he goes ahead and if your barber starts cutting you down from your sides, he doesn't know what he's doing. You're gonna get an uneven haircut. But yeah, as he starts to cut it down, then you really get to see the progress you've been working so hard for. All that time wolfing, all that time not cutting down your hair, even when you really wanted to, it's all worth it once you finally get the cut when it's deserved. Alright, so now you can really see the difference between, what my hair is now and how it looks when it's combed out. It's not as drastic as you would think, but it is 13 weeks, and how big the difference it looks does depend on your hair texture and everything like that. So after your barber's finished cutting your hair down and he's doing all the enhancements and stuff, only things you really have to note is just make sure that your taper isn't too high. Just go ahead and get a medium taper. You've worked hard for this wolf. I didn't get a high taper, I got a medium one. I used to get high tapers all the time, but they weren't the best. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So when you get home, it's important that you actually don't put your do-rag on in the car. And that's because if you're sweating or anything, the blackout and the Beijing that you got sprayed on, if you got it sprayed on your hairline, will actually stick onto your do-rag. So you want to make sure that it's completely dry before you put your do-rag on at all. So now it's time to do your post haircut routine. So what you should do once you get home after you've admired your waves, see what you got to do, go ahead and do a quick session. This should really be under 10 minutes long. You don't want to spend that much time brushing your hair here, and you just want to reintroduce all the moisture you lost. We just did a wash and style before we got the cut, and now our hair is dry. So let's go ahead and moisturize it. First, start with your light water-based moisturizer. Actually, a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure here, because my hair is so low, I just mixed in my leave-in conditioner, pomade, and oil at the same time. Alright, so after you finish your first brush session, you're officially done with the cut. So wait from at least 15 to up to however long you want, just before you go to sleep, to see your full results, and they should look something like this. Because you can see the results look great, honestly. Especially for, like I was saying, for the way my waves look right now to how my haircut was carrying my waves is really crazy. And it's like keeping my hair laid in a way. And yeah, it looked great for like a week until my hair started to grow back and you start to face all the demons when you cut down low. So be careful of how low you cut down. Always cut down to your curl length unless it's on purpose. Now because we followed all of the steps earlier in the video, we got a pretty good cut. And now that you know what the perfect haircut looks like, it's important that you have more of these quick and easy routines so you can keep making progress smarter, not harder. So watch this video next to see what you should be doing for your waves on a daily basis without taking too much of your time. Thanks for watching. God bless.